All right. So last week you guys got the pleasure of seeing me slap myself. I thought it would be more fun this time to see if we can have maybe two of our students come up and do an example for the children with me. Now we're not going to be really hard slapping. It's interesting, there's actually a new sport, and it's pretty competitive, and it's called slapping, and they literally go back and forth and slap each other until one gives up. And it's become pretty popular. Have you guys seen this? This is probably something that college men would watch online and go, oh, this is hilarious. So anyways, I want you guys to face each other, and we're going to be gentle with each other, all right? Now, let's ask, what would happen, let's see, would you like to just give him a nice little tap on the cheek? All right. Now, if he did that to him, and you were him, what would you do? What do you think a lot of people would want to do? Slap him. Okay, go ahead. Oh, that was harder. Why was it harder?
Because I was upset.
Because you're upset, so now what's he going to do? It's going to escalate. It's going to get worse and worse, isn't it? If they just keep slapping each other back and forth, they're going to get more and more angry at each other. And they're going to probably stop slapping at some point, because it's a lot better when you maybe ball up your fist. And then it might go into something even more. And this is what happens when we actually escalate things over and over. Now, it's not the sport. The sport, they all kind of agree, and they probably give each other hugs afterwards. But it's a silly sport. Thank you very much, and thanks for being gentle with each other. So, there's something interesting in the Lord's Word that says something about being slapped in the cheek. Do you guys remember what that statement is? Let's see. Do you want to give it a try? Do you remember what it is? No? Meanness. All right, let's give you a...
If somebody slaps you in the face, turn your cheeks so they can slap the other.
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? So he says, yeah, if somebody slaps you in the cheek, you're supposed to turn the other way. And it's very specific. It says if somebody slaps your right cheek, give them the left cheek also. That sounds kind of strange. What is the Lord telling us here? Let's go ahead and read our story from the Gospel of Matthew. This is chapter 5. And we're going to start with verse 37. It says, "Let your yes be yes, and your no be no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil one. Now you have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you to not resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the left to him also. If anyone wants to sue you and take away your tunic, give him your cloak also." So what's a tunic and a cloak? It's kind of your inner and outer garment. So if somebody sues you and wants to take your cloak, so I'm mixing that up. Wants to take away your tunic, let him also have your cloak. So he's saying, give him even more of your clothes. Isn't that kind of weird? If somebody's taking your clothes from you, give him more. And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to him who asks, and from him who wants to borrow from you, do not turn away. You have heard it said that you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemy, bless those who curse you, and do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use and persecute you. Who in here thinks that's one of the hardest teachings that the Lord gives us? I do. Love your enemy. Yeah, that's a really hard teaching. We've talked about it a lot in church, but it's a hard teaching. And some of these other things that we're reading about, like being slapped in the face, then turn the other cheek, this is actually talking about not that we should let people run all over us, because in the end, if you just let people do whatever they want to hurt you, is that fair to you? Is that what the Lord would want for you? No. So it's not necessarily that we should just let things happen. It's actually trying to use this teaching to help other people understand that we don't have to be violent with each other. And sometimes people will listen, and sometimes people won't. But we should always be looking to share what the Lord teaches us with the other people. And so this whole series is actually teaching us very important things about how we're supposed to treat even people who are harming us, even people who are harming your loved ones. It's not saying that people shouldn't get in trouble. So let's say that you guys are in a sibling fight. You guys are arguing with each other. Does that ever happen? Yeah, I got a more emphatic yes from Ella over here. So if you guys are in a fight and one of you guys hits the other one, what happens sometimes? Yeah? Yeah, often we hit each other back. But what might be a better way to go about it? Yeah? Feel the love for them in your heart. That's a really good part of the answer. Yeah? That is the direct teaching. You're right. I think that there's another way we can do this, which is actually to help teach somebody else. So that might be, in your position, it might be, you know what, I'm gonna go tell Mom, and just do it calmly, not as a threat, but I'm going to go tell Mom that this happened so that we can make sure that we don't do this more. Is there an easier way to not hurt each other? Now, for our more adult or big children, the left cheek actually has to do with our affection for truth. The right cheek has to do with our affection for truth. So this is about somebody attacking something that you believe in, that you love. And so when somebody attacks your belief system, when somebody attacks you, what do you see? Your normal defense. You want to attack back, right? Yeah? Fight or flight. Sometimes you just want to run away. Yeah. But then giving the left cheek is actually to think about, okay, what are the actual truths that I love, and how can I show people a little bit more about what I love and how I love it? That's actually what turning the left cheek is on an intellectual level. And then all of the little things about giving the other tunic, it's about teaching people a little bit by little bit. To go with them 1 mile, no, let's go even farther than that. So the 1 mile is actually just teaching truth, but going the 2nd mile is actually tying that into how that can be good for our lives. So there's a simple lesson that, yep, the Lord doesn't want us to retaliate in anger. He doesn't want us to just slap somebody back because they slapped us or anything else like that, because all that's going to do is get worse and worse, and somebody's going to slap somebody else harder, and then it's become fists, and then it might become weapons. And what happens when lots of people are doing this to each other? What's that? War. War's not fun, is it? No, it hurts a lot of people. And so whenever we think about it, even though it's a very small scale of just us and one other person, this is the same thing that contributes to a big picture of war in our world, and that's something that we really want to try to avoid. So you guys have any questions? I know this is a pretty deep topic for today. Yes?
They just feel the love in their heart and just get sent to God, and then they just
Yeah.
disappear.
So we feel the love in our heart for them, and then they'll go back to the Lord. I think that's the plan. That's the hope.